Paul was 8 years old. He's walking home from the store with his mom, and he sees something crawling across the sidewalk.
An ant?
No, it was a turtle.
Oh, okay. Well, that's nice.
I know. And he told his mom, I want that turtle. I want to take that turtle home. Mama was cool. She let him, and she's thinking in her head, this turtle will never stick around for very long, so it's okay. 25 years later, the turtle is still living.
Those things live a long time.
Forever.
Turtles do, yeah.
Mama, as long as he takes care of it, little turtle.
So it's still his pet or his mom taking care of it?
No, still his pet.
Okay.
He went to college. He moved across the country. This turtle, he named her Colors because she does. She has some very striking colors. So fast forward, he falls in love with Shannon. He proposes to Shannon, all the while thinking in the back of his mind, Turtle's going to be in that wedding. Our turtle Color is going to be in that wedding.
No.
The turtle was the flower girl.
Really? All right. Well, there you go.
They even gave her
Why not?
a little runway, a little walkway to walk down. It didn't carry flowers, but...
And the thing walked?
Yes. And even, Paul said, Colors, the turtle, is very shy normally. And in that many people, he expected her to sort of go back in her shell.
She came out of her shell, huh?
She came out of her shell,
Nice.
and she walked down the aisle. She had some detours.
Nice.
Because it was a very long, there were 11 bridesmaids, 11 groomsmen, and then they had to wait for the turtle to make it down the aisle. So this was an extra long wedding.
Sure, right?
But she made it, and she was part of their lives, part of the ceremony.
Nice. Still in the family, which is really good.
And I love that his wife now allowed it to happen.
Scott had an interesting story with a flower girl, from what I understand, at your wedding.
Yeah, my was so funny too. My wife's cousin's little girl, she was about 3 or 4 at the time, She comes down the aisle with the flowers and everything. Then she walks over and kind of stands off to the side. And then, a couple of times in the ceremony, her mom is kind of smacking her hand. Well, her finger was kind of headed toward her nose a few times.
She was digging for
mean.
gold.
Oh, she was picking her nose at the wedding?
She was trying to leave him a present.
You're being too nice. She was picking her nose at the wedding.
She was picking her nose, yeah.
You're a flower girl. Before or after the flowers?
After.
When it comes to anxiety and depression, which can be so crippling, they have now prescribed something that can help take care of this and help you get out of the anxiety and depression. And it's this. Do a random act of kindness, and it will help big time. They've actually studied this, and it works.
Yeah, it does. And you don't need a good RX to get a discount on it at all. You can just buy somebody a coffee or go take somebody for a walk or, to walk somebody's dog. Any little random act of kindness. But I think in our minds, when we're going through those things, we think, I wish somebody would do a random act of kindness to me. And they said, well, that's nice. You start to feel the love from other people, but it's when you love on someone else that mood starts to be lifted.
Oh, let me tell you. The Bible even addresses it, and do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And this is it goes back to Scripture.
It really does.
That doing something kind for somebody helps you out.
Yeah, because you see somebody else is struggling. I think that's key. And then just anytime you do something for somebody else, I truly feel like your heart kind of grows a little bit. Like you just feel lighter in your spirit.
Well, I don't know if that works for everybody, but I know it helps me.
Yeah.
I know if I do something good for somebody, I feel great about it.
Oh, yeah.
Not because I feel like, whoa, I did something good, pat myself on the back. It just feels good.
It just feels good. We're built that way.
Here's this guy who tunes pianos for a living, watching the news, and then seeing this little 11-year-old play the piano, and then was just mesmerized by his story. It's Rob and Lizz in the morning, his radio. And so he does pretty good tuning pianos, this guy. And he thought, this story about this 11-year-old, the way he plays the piano, his family's from Guam. They don't have a lot. He thought, I'm going to get this young man a piano. And he did. He bought one for $15,000, refurbished the thing, gave it to the family. The family's like, wait, what? You know what it's worth? $45,000.
And this kid, his name is Jude, never taken a piano lesson in his life, what you would call a child prodigy. He just sat down at a piano one day and boom, he was playing it. The local news covered it, and that's how this guy found out about him. And so now, not only did he buy him this super expensive piano, it's a grand piano. This is a huge thing. Probably have no room for anything else in the house, but he's getting him piano lessons as well.
And tune it for life.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're going to have this connection for the rest of their lives because, yes, it is a random act of kindness, but wow.
Right?
Wow, I mean, that's big. That's a big investment.
And being blown away. I mean, the family's like, you didn't have to. And then when you learn how much this piano is worth, $45,000.
And they came to this country looking for an opportunity, and wow, they found it. Fazoli's,
That was an Italian family. They just needed a place to be together. It's Rob and Lizz in the morning. We are His Radio, and these are two senior dogs, Joey and Sophie. They've been together their entire life until recently because the owner couldn't take care of them anymore.
Oh, it's so sad. And you know that just broke their heart that they couldn't have Joey and Sophie anymore. But sometimes you get to a point where you got to take care of yourself. And so she wanted to find the best home. The best thing about it is they wanted Joey and Sophie to stay together. They did not want them to be separated. How hard would that be for these puppies, these dogs, to have to go to a new home separately?
Right.
They don't know anything else.
So they went to the animal shelter. The animal shelter kept their promise. They worked hard. And just a couple of weeks ago, there was a couple that came forward and said, Joey and Sophie, here's your forever home.
Oh, it's so sweet.
I know,
and
very sweet.
I love in the shelter that they even kept them in the same area. I hate to say cage.
They were
but-
together.
Right. They were together. They had their little beds right beside each other.
Right in their kennel.
Yeah, just like always.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's very sweet. That's hard because animals, pets become a part of your family.
they do. And they
it's
don't
crushing
understand.
at times when, we
Right.
just had a foster dog and it was crushing to us to, allow him to go to his new family.
Because he'd been with you a couple of months.
5 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
And
5 weeks, not months.
Oh.
5 weeks. Wow. It's a lot longer than what I
a little
thought.
different.
In-N-Out Burgers, right? Like it's the best burger place ever on the planet, and it's over on the West Coast. It's like, bring them over here. Well, it looks like the dream's coming true for some people who like In-N-Out Burgers because they're making headquarters on the East Coast in Nashville.
Oh, the headquarters.
Of the East Coast in Nashville.
Okay.
So that looks like it's going to be district or home base or something like that. They're going to open up there. They got offices there. So In-N-Out Burgers could be making its way to you. And if you were like, drooling right now because you also believe that In-N-Out Burgers is the only burger joint that knows how to make a burger, well, then your dream's coming true.
Yeah, I've never had In-N-Out Burger, so I have no idea. But yeah, you're right, Rob, that if they're making a headquarters, a central office, well, there's of course, got to have branches. So they're going to be up and down the East Coast.
And leaves.
And leaves.
Roots and all that other stuff. It's amazing. They're going to grow hamburgers on trees now. So Scott is like, okay, what's the place that you want to see come back?
Crystal
To move into this area because they're somewhere, right?
Well, there used to be a lot of them, and they've slowly started closing and shrinking, I think, their footprint in our area.
Why
But
Crystal Burger?
they're cheap, and I remember my buddies and I used to hang out there in college. It was just, they were open late, and it was just a cheap place to get some grub and hang out, and just brings back a lot of memories.
Scott just wants to relive his college days.
I think that's what
At
it
Crystal
is.
Burger.
And I'm hungry.
Yeah, because you would
That
order like
helps.
what? How many Crystal Burgers could you eat?
Yeah, some I knew people that could eat like a sack full of them,
Right.
but
Well, they're
maybe
tiny, right?
Right.
4 or 5,
Okay.
without overdoing it.
See, I grew up with White Castle because my mom is from the north, from Ohio. And every time we went back to Ohio to visit family, we always had to go get, like you say, a sack full of White Castle. So I remember that. Yeah.
Like clockwork, my grandmother would take me to a place called Burger Chef in Florida. Burger
Never
Chef.
heard of it.
I have.
Was it just local or was it like...
Hey, I was a kid then.
Okay.
Everything was big time.